Hey, Survivor. Welcome to episode 146 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. This week's court testimony has been emotionally heavy and, to be honest with you, re-traumatizing. But I'm in this for the long haul, and I want to be able to bring you some real life experience real time. You may not personally be in a courtroom, but you may be navigating your own overwhelming experiences. Toxic people, narcissistic family members, work stress, grief, or just working on healing from the abuse that you've experienced. And it's not about having a post-traumatic pissing contest. We're not doing that here. But trauma affects everybody differently. Literally. So let's self-regulate with a 4-4-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. We'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you notice in your body? I invite you to take it a step further by maybe blowing some raspberries if you'd like, dropping your shoulders if you'd like, maybe grounding in your seat a little bit, planting your feet on the floor if you'd like. How's that feel? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. Survivor, this murder trial has been re-traumatizing. I'm not even going to lie. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And on the one hand, I'm determined to see this thing through. I've been supporting other people for the last couple of years on their journeys to justice, and now it's my turn. And so on the one hand, there's a part of me that's like taking notes and really locking in and learning all kinds of things about the justice system. It's been very interesting. I've never experienced anything like this before. And then on the other hand, it's like, I don't even realize like the weight of it all. And as I'm going through these hearings, I'm taking it in, I'm having these responses in my body real time in the moment, whether it's just kind of curling my body up and making myself small, or just feeling anxious or jittery, or feeling my heart rate increase and just feeling that sense of panic or anxiety, just reliving some things through, whether it's through testimony or recordings that are being played, or actually seeing people in the courtroom and even seeing the murderer in the courtroom, listening to the prosecutors and the defense attorneys asking questions or trying to, push forth a point. It's just a lot. And yeah. Anyway, and I'll get through a hearing and then even hours later get home and true story. One time I was playing with my dog at the end of a day and I had been in court earlier that day and I was just talking to the dog and I was like, yeah, mommy's had a long day and it's been a tough day. And I kept repeating that over and over again to the dog. And then next thing I know, I'm like kind of in a pile on the floor and sobbing. And he knows what to do. He just plopped right down in my lap, curled up, and just started like licking my arm and, snuggling in and just really trying to help me. He's my little co-regulator. Maybe you have one too. But I didn't realize until that happened how much just the day in court had affected me. And so I'm learning just how to really regulate real time through this process. And I want to be able to help you too. And I'm also going through it with other people who were close to this situation years ago. Here we are 8 years later, but I'm going through it real time with other people who were, connected as well. And I'm also learning about the power of community. And I want to be able to share that with you as well. But I'm realizing through it all that you really can't underestimate the power and the impact physically, emotionally, spiritually that traumatic events have on you. What has happened to you or what is happening. And also I'm realizing that these bodily responses, the exhaustion, the stress and anxiety, the muscle tension, the flashbacks and ruminate, these are normal things and nothing to be ashamed of. And that being re-traumatized, like if you're going to a situation where you're having to relive something that happened a day ago, a week ago, years ago, that's totally normal, and it doesn't mean that you're weak or that there's something wrong with you. It means that you're human and your body is remembering some really hard things. As a survivor, you can feel totally overwhelmed due to heightened stress responses to things, adversity that you've gone through, or ACEs, things that have happened to you in your childhood, in your upbringing, the stress of narcissistically abusive relationships, the gaslighting, the lying, the projection, the triangulation, controlling, manipulative behavior, which is also an indicator of trauma, quite frankly, but we're focusing on you and your healing right now. Also, just even the self-blaming and shaming that goes along with what has happened to you and your exposure to toxic relationships or people, and especially over a period of time. And then when life happens, or like me, your number comes up and you're going and actively participating or attending a court hearing, or you're having some kind of ongoing toxic encounters, like say, for example, if you were in a divorce, or you are in a custody battle where you're being exposed to controlling, manipulative type behaviors, triangulation around that when you're co-parenting, dealing with children and shared custody, that can impact you too. And your nervous system can just get overloaded to where you just feel like you cannot handle anymore. Like you're just overwhelmed, and you may feel compelled to shut down, or you just can't even function. Can't think straight, exhausted. It happens. So here are some tools to help you to stay grounded. The physical skills for self-regulation were breathing and ways to get grounded. One of the examples was very similar to our 4-4-8 breathing exercise that we do here every week on the podcast, where we inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8, and spending a longer amount of time on your exhale because exhaling relaxes. And I invite you to repeat that maybe 3 to 5 times. And then taking time to do grounding exercises, like, for example, naming 5 things that you can see. You know, having a safe, stable environment is super important. And sometimes the threat response that we have is based on a perceived threat, but it doesn't matter because the body can't tell anyway. And so our goal is to calm the body and the brain, and naming 5 things that you can see in your immediate environment can help you to get grounded in the now. Another tool would be body care, things like hydrating, drinking our water. And it's interesting that in the courtroom, when witnesses took the stand, they had a pitcher of water right there at the witness stand and cups so that people could help themselves to water. And that helps brain function. And in addition to that, taking time to stretch and even walk, taking a break. They had a time where one of the jurors was giving the judge some funny looks, and so he called for a break. And we found out later that the juror had to go to the restroom, and she wasn't really sure how to communicate that, but she had a need to get up and take care of her body. And I'm sure other people as well appreciated the opportunity to be able to stretch, walk after sitting for so long. And that applies to your situation too. Getting some fresh air, clearing your head can really help you to find some balance, some stability, some grounding, and refresh you. Another tool is limiting replays. This is so hard, especially in an environment like this. Like I've been in this week of being in a trial. It's hard to not relive the story. And talk therapy can even do that for you. Put you in a situation where you're forced to relive something unpleasant, uncomfortable, painful, whether it's court testimony, maybe you're on the receiving end of a narcissistic smear campaign and you're constantly being told or hearing about things that are being said about you, lies that are being told. And that can make you feel some kind of way. Or you might be playing your own tapes in your mind. You may be ruminating over a relationship that went sideways and south, or a toxic interaction, or just even self-blaming and shaming over getting into a relationship situation where you have a lot of guilt around that. Like, gosh, what was I thinking? How could I allow myself to do that? Hindsight's 20/20. But I know I've kicked myself over narcissistic and toxic relationships that I've been in. Another tool is establishing safe connections. By the way, as far as limiting replays, I want to encourage you. You may find validation, even if it's temporary, in connecting with people who can relate to what you've gone through or what you're going through. But even with that, putting a timestamp on it. I had that with some friends after one of the court hearings, had a moment where we all kind of shared our perspective or our angle, or kind of revisited some things that we had gone through that as it related to what we were experiencing in court, and then collectively agreed, oh, going forward, we're going to focus our attention on good news and our current and future endeavors, and ways that we can support each other in that, and wins that we can celebrate. On top of that, another thing would be safe connections, leaning on people who are safe and who can validate your truth. This could be a therapist or counselor, a support group. I've been in a 12-step study group, and actually I'm getting ready to graduate with my group, and that's been really encouraging. And it's cool to be able to be around people that can relate to what you're going through. It doesn't have to be identical, but just that they get it. And then working through hard things together along the way. And then trusted friends. Like I got to share a couple meals with my friends who were close to this trial. And one of them actually testified, and we were able to connect over a plant-based meal actually at one of our favorite restaurants. And it was just really cool to be able to kind of woo-saw after that aspect of the trial had ended, and to be able to connect, bond, encourage one another, encourage the friend who testified, and be able to just share a whole food plant-based meal and nourish our bodies with good food, and be able to let our hair down, build each other up, and look forward faithfully to the future. Another thing is, speaking of faith, is having faith and spiritual anchors that you can lean on. Prayer, scriptures, meditation, affirmations. These are things that can help to ground you and help to restore peace in the midst of chaos. Our friend group, we were just talking about some of the evil aspects of what happened to us, and even having to relive some of that, talking about how we've had to lean on our faith in order to find higher ground in the midst of all this. And also too, just even looking at some of the blessings. We were sharing stories about just some of the blessings that came out of a really dark time, a really hard time in our lives and our shared experience. And that was really cool too, to just see and to talk about and identify the ways that, for example, God worked through a really horrible situation, and where we found blessings just in the chaos and drama and tragedy. Finally, boundaries. That's another way to apply when you need to stay grounded. And it was really cool to watch our friend who had to testify set boundaries, even with the court, on their time, and be firm. I was encouraging them about that because I just thought that's important. Look, I've got other things to do. So you have this time to this time, and that's it. It's important to protect your time, your energy, your exposure, because it all impacts your brain and body. That really can wreak havoc on your nervous system. I saw that. Some of my friends saw that. We all experienced it in different ways because every body is literally different, but you can't underestimate the effect that has. And when you've got a job or other responsibilities, a spouse, children, a household to take care of, you have to be able to find ways to ground and stay focused and stay on track so that you can do the things that you need to do to live your best life going forward, and not just stay stuck in a loop on what has happened. And a trial will do that to you, whether it's replays of 9/11 calls, I should say 911, replays of 911 calls, or testimony from other people and their perspective, just seeing people in the courtroom, like all of it. It's all a form of replay, text messages, visuals, exhibits that are being shown, recordings. It all impacts your body. Being aware of that and aware of your body's response to that, and being able to identify what's happening so that you can set those limits, set those boundaries, put those buffers in place, get the support that you need, apply the tools that you have in your toolbox to be able to move through that discomfort. And those moments can really help you to build resilience and continue on a path towards healing. Just remember that healing is not about being completely unaffected by hard moments like the things that I've described, what's happened to you or what may be happening to you currently. It's about learning how to recover and care for yourself when they happen. Mind, body, spirit. As a survivor of narcissistic abuse, you've already endured so much. And every step that you take towards calming and balancing and grounding in your brain and your body is a step towards your freedom. The courtroom, like I've been experiencing, may literally replay some of the worst moments of your life, but that does not have to define your healing. Retraumatization doesn't mean that you are broken. It means that you're human. So when you experience re-traumatization, having compassion for yourself and for others can really help you to be able to move forward faithfully, forcefully, and confidently. Remember, you can't control the storm, but you can anchor yourself in peace. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your peace is priceless. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.